leading the charts in terms of stats. No, no. Outer regions and minor regions are taking the helm.
Most definitely, but they have also just started in this bracket, so there's a little bit of time for them to catch up or possibly lose out in some of these stats, but still, I gotta give it a Fury 77. Earlier, with that response in the Luminon Blast, definitely one of the highlight plays. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of clips of that moment. Sadly, they didn't give us the replay, but it was definitely hype.
I mean, that was just a perfect lineup. You know, that's what you live for when you're playing in those roles. They're actually going to go ahead and their last ban is going to be used on the Grok, and then you have the Hayabusa and the Karina being banned out by Malvinas Gaming, really trying to limit Leo into something here. And it's, unfortunately, there's still many assassins available, and this time he's going to go with the Ling here. Wondering exactly what you want to throw in the jungle for Prince Fran specifically, right? We do see that Fredrin is still available. Does he want to lean towards a utility jungler for this matchup?
Yeah, I think Fredrin would be a really good option, but then again, it's tough because Lunox just kind of shreds you no matter what, and it's just a ticking time bomb for the side of Occupied Thrones on the Lunox. It's really, really tough. I would like to see an assassin, but then it feels like he's forced to play this peel because you know Wanwan as well as a Farsa have your back.
Now, Malvinas Gaming doing kind of what I thought they were going to do, pick up a bulky jungler this time. Since Occupied Throne showed their hand first in the jungle, we got to respond to it, but the Ruby pick, we haven't seen that a whole lot. I think we saw it once the other day. How do you feel about it?
I mean, Ruby's still great CC potential, but I feel like sometimes it takes a little bit longer for her to really get that durability. I mean, it takes the items and everything, and when you, like Gideon said, you got a Lunox across from you. She's going to be shredding at least in the magic department. And so you have a couple options for you. Ruby is great, though, for those setups if you can get them. The Flicker combination with I'm Offended, if you can land those, it could set you up for a win in those objectives and everything else here. So solid lineups. I mean, there's a lot of CC here for Malvinas Gaming, but Occupy Thrones, they've kind of got their bases covered. Biggest question mark for me is the Faramis pick, because it's been a little lackluster so far through the tournament.
I'm sorry, I got a glimpse of a couple of those sides, but it's time to jump right into the game here. Match point for Occupied Thrones, as they might be able to secure a place in the next battle, but Malvinas Gaming looks to punch back. This is game number 2.
All right, I mean, we got a glimpse there at the emblems, and I think the biggest question is especially the pacing in the jungle, right? Again, Prince Fran going towards that objective-based play style this time around with the Fredrin. And that's the thing, can you actually really utilize this? Maro, though, already aggressively going in, gonna just get some vision here too and try to see if he can force Fran into a bad situation. But still, this rotation, the early rotation for Malvinas Gaming is going to be really important, especially if they can secure themselves the first turtle of the game.
Hey, yo, what's going on down here? They're stealing away the Beetle without their jungle, and they just want to get ahead and EXP and deny it from this Ling, but they're not going to get punished whatsoever. OT is just chilling in the mid lane, going to shove it on out, and then look to move.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? I feel like this place, wait a second. Steffi with a nice lockup. Probably nothing major going to happen here. Maro forced to back off, but still, Malvinas Gaming, I feel like when there's a Ling on the field, that team wants to set a tempo, and Malvinas Gaming doesn't care about it. They want to bring in their own, but look how much material Leo's taking right now.
He was able to pretty much clear out the free camps down on the bottom side of the map. Not to mention that, you know, he expected Malvinas Gaming to actually start invading that Beetle with the information provided by that. Lunox is able to make some really good calculated decisions overall. But in terms of the map rotation, it does feel a little strange. Nobody's really taking the initiative just yet. We're not seeing, you know, we're not seeing Maro actually jumping into too many of these fights. He understands they want to get level 4 first before anything.
Oh, but there's some initiation. Dragon going to take a bit of damage, but now the rest of Malvinas Gaming is here. Turtle is up. I think it's going to be a second until the fight ensures, though.
All right, so Dragon going to be fine. He also just got that ultimate ability. The Consecration going to heal back up. Still, though, it looks like Prince Fran wants to fight for this turtle. Maro to almost level 4, just hit it. So gonna wait for, you know, Leo to grab this purple buff and just get in position to fight this, because they've got all the ultimates across the board here, especially when you're talking about having this Faramis. They've got a little bit more of an extension of a fight, and now they're pulling it through. They get the feathered airstrike out from Harley. That's a big ult out from Malvinas Gaming.
They're stalling on purpose. OT is stalling this on purpose. Mario could have absolutely hit that if he flickered, but now look at the enemy purple buff. Malvinas Gaming is going to lose it, and while Prince Fran is slowly taking this away.
Oh, cheeky, but Leo still able to get it. Gonna get stunned up there, but will be able to walk away from this freely. Prince Fran is able to secure the turtle, so almost a decent trade. When we look at the gold, OT has a small 150 advantage.
Well, I mean, even with that, okay, they might still go here in the mid lane, but even with that trade, right, you're at least securing yourself the first turtle here, but I mean, Prince Fran, does he care too much about the purple buff? As a Fredrin, maybe not so much in comparison to the assassin junglers here, but still, you don't want to just continue to give things away. And even noticing, you know, Joel Crew already having the corrosion scythe here on that 1-1, it's going to be crucial for him to find the crossbow of tanks and even those resets later on throughout the fight. And now you can see even the focus here from Occupy Thrones.
Ooh, in comes Gatto, though, showing his presence. The rest of the team also ready to make a strike, but nobody sticking their neck out too far.
I don't know what's happening here. I mean, Gatto just goes in, he uses that Brilliance, goes back out, he's trying to bait out Joel Cruel, but then he also knows that the rest of the team is moving on, so why exactly did he use the Brilliance when he could just use the Darkening? So many questions at hand. Maro?
Wait a second, Maro does come in, but a Feathered Airstrike is there to stop him. Colt Alter comes out to save the day, and once again, it is a disengage. Come on, Gideon, what's going on here?
I don't see first blood. It's been 4 minutes. I want my action.
Weird.
This is supposed to be like the Blood Dome.
So
Where
weird,
is
dude.
my blood?
The Blood Dome. Well, I mean, at this point, it is kind of odd that both of these teams, especially when we saw the team head-to-head, that there's been no first blood up to this point. I'm sure in the next 30 seconds or so when that turtle comes up, everyone's going to be rearing to go. Gatto finally picking up the Clock of Destiny here, too, at the 4.5-minute mark. So this could be crucial, though. Joel Crew, though, still the focus of Occupy Thrones. Harley also picking up Clock of Destiny. So everybody's still looking for that first kill of the game.
Everybody's still looking for that first blood, but no first blood. Sorry, Gideon, just not yet. 5 minutes in. I mean, now with the turtle up, though, Leo is going to get the first poke onto it along with Joel Crew. Looking at Prince Fran and Harley coming in as well. Nice time offended on Maro. Gatto, though, comes in, but Maro still falls. Brilliance has dropped Harley. Able to flicker. Steph taking a bit of damage. Fury comes in with the Colt Alter, giving it a little bit more sustainability. Hulk onto the backside, but Gatto is found by Joel Crew. Hulk now onto the tower, forced to flicker away. Fury getting a bit of poke, but this should give the turtle over to the side of Malvinas.
Finally, we do see the first 2 kills come forward, but it's weird. It's like, oh, you want the objective, you want the kills, and then suddenly there's a huge shift in perspective.
But I mean, like, even with that, it was just kind of a weird whole fight there for that turtle. But Joel Crew coming out with the 2 kills and being able to pick up his second item now on this 1-1, it is going to be something that Occupy Thrones has to be conscious of, because you just see a lot of this back and forth, and still Steffi looking for another possible setup here. Now Maro on the Kufra is going to be the big person to find the setup for Occupy Thrones, but right now they're struggling for it as this turtle is now less than half health.
Most definitely, and Maro is keeping his distance, making sure he's in range to possibly make the play happen. But Harley and Steph also being very, very sneaky inside of this bitch. Joel Crew gonna move around. Dragon trying to delay that purple buff, but it still goes into the hands of Leo. Off camera, Maro is picked off. Harley taking a bit of damage, will fall. Hulk finds it. Hulk in the midst of things. Joel Crew gets crossbow tang, and he will find it. The Cold Alter still not enough. Finally with the killing spree, but now OT is on the hunt. Leo here gets stunned up by Steph, and Joel Crew finds another. That is a double kill, and still the Lord is not taken, but they have got what they need because it's 5-1 on the board.
Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, things could have gone so bad. I saw Malvinas Gaming like, oh, I am ready to make the TikTok highlights, but there's still objectives, so Joel Crew backs off. He was so ready to go further and push himself to the limits here. But right now, I feel like Occupy Throne has kind of lost their aggressiveness. They're playing a lot more controlled for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure what the communications seem like.
They're still pressing the situation here on the top side, going to take them out here.
Ooh, I'm offended, locks on Maro, burst it down. That's an unstoppable kill for Joel Crew, and at 5-0-1 at 7.5 minutes, the 1-1 is beginning to look scary.
See, this is a big problem, and this is why you see 1-1 banned out quite a bit, right? Because you get to this point in the game, it is a 3K gold lead, but all those kills, all that gold is on that 1-1, and it gets really hard to deal with here because typically you see teams dealing with a 1-1, you know, juggling Winter Trojans later on through the game. That's a Wind of Nature being picked up by Joel Crew as well. So now he can be even more of a nuisance, even more confident in trying to get those weak points off so he can pop the crossbow of Peng. And this is why you just see them take control of Occupy Throne's jungle.
Oh, Maru trying to dive in and make it onto Joel Crew, but it's still not enough. A nice I'm offended, locks up Maru. He drops Hulk along with him. Fury 77 now on the run, does a nice bit of damage, but he falls. Joel Crew 6-0 in 3 now. That is 60% of the kills going to him. This is spelling trouble for OT.
And this is why you need to ban out this 1-1. All that CC, all the commitment put on Joel Crew just does not matter. He cleanses out of the very first one, which is an inbuilt skill, by the way, and then immediately pops his Inspire to take out the rest of the team, gain his health back even. So right now it's quite a struggle for Occupy Thrones as it feels like no matter what they do, Joel Crew is just way too far ahead. So I think they need to start thinking about pickoffs, and specifically Harley.
See, I mean, this is the crazy thing. Even looking at the gold, Joel Crew's like almost 3K ahead of Gato, right? Which was placed in the gold lane there. And that's what you're seeing here. Just, it's so hard to deal with, even these skirmishes around the buffs.
Yeah, Volt trying to get into that backside, but just can't seem to commit, can't seem to do the damage, and it definitely has to do with that gold lead. Now back to what you were saying.
I mean, still, the point being is just itemization. You're out-itemized, right? And a lot of that has, again, to do with the 1-1 pick, which is usually constantly banned out, right? And Joel Crew, knowing that, able to just kind of freely do what he wants to do and doesn't really have to worry too much just yet. Now, it is 10 minutes in the game. If Occupy Thrones can hold on, maybe for dear life, they can defend themselves in the base here, but they still need time because, again, you don't have a traditional marksman here. You're relying on some form of setup from Maru, maybe even Hulk. You've got a Cult Altar, but still, you got also a lot of magic damage here, and right now, it's just hard to deal with because you got Prince Fran in the front, you've got Steffi finding those I'm Offended combinations like we talked about with the Flicker, and meanwhile, Dragon's on, you know, this unkillable hero who just is a distraction at this point.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think that even though Occupy Thrones have options to be aggressive, the counter-engage coming in from Malvinas Gaming and just the raw peel from Prince Fran and Steffi alone already deters them. So it just boils down to who can create that space. Do they want to have Gato do it, or do they want to have Maru to do it? Because Leo and as well as Hulk do generally struggle. They go in, they slow down. There's nothing much they can really do other than displace and pull attraction to themselves. But as long as Malvinas Gaming sticks as 5, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and the Lord now encroaching into enemy territory. Will connect onto that inhibitor. Going to do a nice bit of damage, but Gato will be able to handle it so they don't lose a base tower just yet. Malvinas Gaming going to go around and eat up OT's resources and wait for them to come out.
This is even scarier, right? He just, Joel Crew just locked himself in, the Malefic Roar, able to pick that up. Steffi getting this Dominance Ice. So still, Occupy Thrones trying to play catch up. 7.5k gold lead and no turrets for Occupy Thrones here. They're literally just trapped on their side, if not their base. And I mean, Joel Crew, the turret plater, number 2 highest turret damage per minute. That's 951 damage. And this has been a game for him. I mean, if it was Leo's game, the previous one, this one's Joel Crew here.
You know, for now, I mean, for all we know, this game could drag out longer, but let's have a look at Joel Crew, the turret plater. You know, the second highest turret damage per minute at 951. The man is able to push really fast and somehow is able to shred these turrets without taking too much damage or getting punished that heavily.
Yeah, another amazing statistic for one of these lower bracket teams. It definitely goes to show how much of a stars they are in their own right. But with Malvinas Gaming holding such a strong lead over this, is there an answer for OT?
Well, I think one of the biggest answers for them is still going back to the point. Like, do you use Gato to, whether it's the Brilliance, whether it's those Chaos Balls, to try to melt someone down here if you can at this point? Do you have Hulk either initiate with the split or peel for you? Leo also, I think he's got a couple items now on this link. He's got damage, but I feel like the big problem is there's just too much even durability from Malvinas Gaming because of that gold lead. Even looking at the items here, I think he's still got to build his third one. But at this point, you don't even really want to see them contest this Lord. They might be better off just defending in their base for another one while they can play catch-up here.
Yeah, Morrow will get the Tyrant's Revenge onto Steffi, but a nice I'm offended comes onto Hulk and Fury. Colt Alter does come out, but they don't want to let it up. Joel Crew popping off with that crossbow of Tang. Fury goes down, everyone else back to base. Leo caught in the midst of the field. Gonna try to get hunted down from Dragon, but this should be a possible Lord for the side of Malvinas.
And this is what we were talking about earlier. No matter what aggressive moves coming out from OT, from Mauro specifically does, he instantly gets cleansed away. The peel coming in from Prince Fran, and not to mention just the counter engagement coming out from Steffi. He gets hit by it, doesn't care, quickly taunts everybody and pulls them in with a I'm offended. So now OT are on the back foot even further than before, and most teams can't recover from this position. 9K gold lead basically going to be 10 once that Luminous Lord crashes into the inhibitor.
Yeah, I think, Leo's trying his best here, really to put pressure anywhere that he can. But he's also going to be careful because in this defense, you're probably going to see Steffi try to just set up a play with a flicker, I'm offended combination. They still have quite a few options. But now they've got to work on this Lord here on the bottom side.
Most definitely it does get the crash because it is enhanced. A lot of green dots on the side of Malvinas, but the same thing goes for Mena. Ults are ready to go. They want to move into this middle inhibitor, try to take as much as they can. They don't want to go too deep. Dragon will hold down the front line. Able to zone Leo and got away, but now the I'm offended locks in. Feathered Airstrike comes down. Hulk coming onto the backside, but Steffi does fall. OT trying to make the response here. Looks like we're going for a ride along with Hulk, but Prince Fran is caught in the midst of 4 members and will fall as well. That is a 3-for-0 trade. They do take some inhibitors, but Occupy Thrones is answering back.
Well, I mean, you can consider that a at least successful defense here for Occupy Thrones. They also narrowed down that gold gap by about, 3,000 gold or so, and they might be able to make some more moves across the map. They didn't get Joel Crew, unfortunately, but the fact that Steffi initiated that, right? As we expected, he initiated that fight with the I'm offended, and it didn't go the way they wanted to. They wanted to end the game there, but Occupy Thrones able to hold on for it.
Yeah, unable to close out, and man, quite the swing in OT's favor now. They might actually have a chance if they're able to find a fight like that once more, now that the blue does, Hulk in particular, is able to kind of tank just enough damage from Joel Crew to waste his time and allow the rest of his team to go for the bigger picks.
And looking at the items, I mean, at least for, Occupy Thrones, they've got the damage in terms of magic, right? You've got Fury having that Divine Glaive now with the Glowing Wand. He's got the Lightning Truncheon. He's pretty much where he needs to be. You also have, again, Gato is that big thing, because that's what you chose to put in the gold lane here. Now, you do lack that marksman, but you've got a lot of burst potential. The penetration is there, and hopefully Leo can follow up. If Leo continues to put pressure around the map, open it up a little bit better, they could still play around that, but Morrow charging up here in the bush.
Oh, big flicker. That is huge. Harley goes down along with Joel Crew. Steffi could be next. Leo gonna try to find him, use the conceal, just try to escape, but it's double kill for Leo. Prince Fran into the back line, will get immobilized, and Glue's gonna take him for a ride back to the team. Prince Fran trying to do everything he can, but Leo will get the triple and wipe them out. Nothing but Dragon stands against Occupy Thrones right now. Should be an easy Lord.
Oh, I don't know what the thought process was there, but Joel Crew, unfortunately, purposefully showing himself walking into the lane rush like that against the Kufra, who doesn't mind if there's multiple. It means more value. I thought I was going to get a 1-for-1. He got a 3-for-1. That was massive.
I mean, as we were just trying to figure out how can Occupy Thrones get back into the game, just like that gold lead completely gone here. And even Gato picking up the Divine Glaive because of that whole skirmish. They've now got the Lord marching with them in the bottom side. They're going to be looking to focus on possibly even Inhibitor Turret if they can get there. So now Malvinas Gaming in a very dire situation. You've got Leo also pushing into the tier 1 on the top side. Let's see if Malvinas Gaming can defend this, because that was a huge blunder on the bottom side.
Oh, I mean, let's look at the high ground defense at this point, because now Occupy Thrones are taking the lead, but it doesn't really technically matter at this point other than the situational items. Probably not the best use of Feathered Airstrike there, probably could have waited a little bit until it got closer towards the inhibitor turret because they knew that the outer turrets are basically gone at this stage with a Luminous Lord 17 minutes into the game. However, if we talk about oh no.
Yeah, a little bit of suppression.
Oh.
But wait a second, I'm Offended comes in, and Fury goes down. Joel Crew gonna pick that up. It comes across both Tang. Morrow will be next. Hulk forced to back off. Leo now on the boss side. Joel Crew wants to try to find him, but he is a slippery boy. Should be able to escape this. Wait a second. Joel Crew still hunting him down, but Leo is going to be able to get away. It is back and forth.
Man, Leo's doing work again. I mean, you got to give it up to the guy. He picks up the BOD here, but knowing the situation they were in, for 12, 13 minutes of the game, he has found wins where he could, and it's resulted into basically Occupy Thrones being in this game, possibly ending this and sending Malvinas Gaming home, right? And Leo, whether he's pushing lanes, whether he's pushing turrets, it's opening up the map for Occupy Thrones here. I mean, look at the gold for Leo.
Yeah, he's definitely been playing a different game from the rest of his team. And honestly, wait, hold up, Leo, are you in trouble?
Oh, maybe. Force uses Tempest Blades as an escape. In comes Dragon trying to sandwich it in, but man, Leo. That's all I gotta say.
The Leo, he is the literal economy of OT at this stage of the game, right? And Malvinas Gaming, this has been a series of unfortunate events. Like every particular play that they've thought of, either they didn't think it all the way through and got punished for it, and now if they had just closed out this game, we would have already been on game 3 and Malvinas Gaming would have the momentum, but now that it's been stopped, OT are starting. This is a real test of the mental between both of these teams. Throw the strategy out right now, because if they cannot execute, and more importantly so, if their mental breaks at this crucial part of the game, it's going to be over.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, right, everybody's items are almost at this pretty much locked in, right? You're going to see some juggling, especially from the side of Occupy Thrones, because they've got to juggle the Winter Transient when Joel Crew pops that crossbow of Tang. If they can negate that and time it well...
Morrow doesn't want to juggle anything except for Joel Crew. Because now Prince Fran on the run. Fury going to pop that Cult Altar. Morrow pushes him back. Bit more damage. Leo looking for Harley. Can't quite find him. Going to get pulled in from that I'm Offended. Leo may go down here. Immortality does pop. Fury wants to try to keep them at bay. Leo will be able to escape. Fury uses the flicker, but the taunt comes in. Prince Fran wants something. Morrow going to come in to try to create more distance. Well, all of this is happening. Gado working on the Lord, so it is a good play from Occupy Throne.
You called it. You called it, Naisu. They found it as you mentioned it.
Why was he there? I mean, that's, again, Joel Crew, you're wondering, like, you know, you don't have to be there in the middle of that, in between that pit when you know Morrow is in a bush. And that's the thing. Remember, you can't hear that charge up. Right? You can't hear that. So that's just a surprise effect. And again, why Kufra seems to be picked up so often, because when he charges up, comes in with that Tyrant's Rage, it's really hard to deal with. So now it's, again, Malvinas Gaming on the defense here. And look at that gold lead that Occupy Thrones has. Really, at this point, it just comes down to juggling those items and marching in with this Lord here.
Joel Crew is getting very impatient here. He knows he could have ended this game much sooner, but here we go. A potential final push.
Lord has encroached into this base. Feathered Airstrike does come down, but the Cold Altar is enough to sustain, and Harley will bite the bullet. Next will be Steph, possibly very low. Hulk trying to get in the backside, but they are going at it, and the base falls. Occupy Thrones will claim the victory tonight. Malvinas Gaming will be forced to go home. GG's, well played.
Congratulations, Occupy Thrones move on to the next stage, but our heartfelt goes out to Malvinas Gaming. They were so very close to closing this. They had everything, but they couldn't close it out. Well done, Occupy Thrones.
Man, I gotta say, it's great to see these guys smile too. And like I said, I feel like Leo there is just like, whew. You know, the work he put in on that Ling, bouncing around, grabbing the objectives, putting pressure where they needed to. Again, what was the gold lead? I think at one point it was, what, 10K in favor of Malvinas Gaming when they're pushing into that base? So that is a game where you just feel like, oh, everything we did, it paid off here.
Regardless, the sportsmanship at an all-time high here. Both of these teams playing like absolute champions, and the heart of Champions. But with that being said, Occupied Thrones, enjoy your walk of fame down all the way outside. Please give them a round of applause as we throw it over to our analysts at the analyst segment to break down the games. Please give them the round of applause one more